in society about what an athletic body should look like. But our next guest, as do many, believe a smaller waistline doesn't define how good you can be at a sport. I want you to meet Elizabeth Sneed. Started riding waves in 2012. After a lesson, she knew she was hooked. This was what she wanted to do. One problem, though, all of the women's surfing gear was designed for smaller women. That was one of the many obstacles facing surfers who don't fit a certain body type. So, frustrated by the lack of representation, Sneed began posting photos of herself on Instagram under the name Curvy Surfer Girl, and as you can imagine, immediately gained a following. Now, Curvy Surfer Girl has become a movement to encourage women and girls to embrace body positivity and partake in the sport they love. We get to meet Elizabeth Sneed now. She joins me. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Aloha kakahiaka. Thank you so much for having me.
This just makes me so incredibly happy to meet you. I saw this and I was like, I need to talk to this woman. So now you happen to be in Hawaii, correct?
Yes, I live in Honolulu, Hawaii, so it is raining right now. The news forecast is correct.
And you're up very early because we know how many hours you're ahead of Los Angeles. But you grew up in Texas, so you're a Texas girl, kind of far from the ocean. You had sort of an encounter when you were 14. Tell me what got you over that and back into the water. You nearly drowned.
Yes, I did a mission trip actually to the Gulf during Hurricane Katrina for the relief efforts in Alabama, and I was caught in a really severe riptide. The Coast Guard did not see me and my friends, and we nearly drowned out at sea. We were rescued by a fisherman. So I was absolutely mortified of the ocean. I wouldn't go more than ankle deep without shaking. And one year when I was 21, it was a life dream to visit Hawaii. And so I came here, I took a surf lesson, and it changed my life. It became the vessel that I used to recover and redeem my relationship with the ocean.
And now you and the ocean are like besties.
Yes.
So I want to talk about this idea, because you grew up, you spent a lot of time, not grew up, but you spent a lot of time there in Hawaii, and you know the really remarkable history that surf has, not only in those islands, but in the coastal communities all around the world. But it hasn't necessarily been welcoming to different body shapes.
Yes, it has been, it's been a very narrow perspective, especially for female surfing. And that's primarily driven by a patriarchal narrative that we've seen since the turn of the 20th century when, men came in and made this a sport for commerce, right? For consumption, and then turned it into a spectator sport where we have competitions. And when you're selling surfing, you're selling, bodies, right? You're selling the idea. And that's where we started seeing that very limited representation for women. Women were used as more of a sexual tool or kind of like a sex sells campaigns rather than actual athletes. And because of that specific narrative, we have very limited body types in women's surfing, historically speaking. Of course, that excludes the pre-colonial contact with Native Hawaiian women surfers like
Sure.
Manu, who was, historically a plus-size woman that was renowned for her surfing abilities.
See, this is what I love about Elizabeth. She'll drop some data and knowledge and research and history on you to remind you that just because this one standard of beauty has prevailed, it isn't the only one. And by the way, that's changing so dramatically. This has been going on with you, and Curvy Surfer Girl on Instagram is part of this bigger movement about body positivity. And I'm sure it's been really gratifying to see how you are allowing other girls and women to feel seen, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Honestly, it's just, I wanted to be a woman and a role model to other women that were like me. I started surfing so much later in life than your average surfer does. Most people that surf have lived by the coastlines their entire life. And as you stated so accurately, I grew up in a very rural Northeast Texas community, and I had never even seen the ocean. And I really wanted to give women the opportunity to say, hey, you don't have to be a professional surfer. You don't have to be the best. You can be different ages and a different body type, and surfing can still be something for you.
And just go out and have
that's
some
why
fun
I
on the
started.
board and be on the ocean. I mean, that's your happy place, isn't it?
It is. It's like my soul belongs to the ocean. I love it so much.
So what are you hearing from the women that you end up connecting with? What are they saying to you?
It's truly awe-inspiring. It brings tears to my eyes almost every week. Women's lives are being totally changed. There's so many women who felt like they did not have any athleticism in their bodies because they were so shamed for so long being in a plus-size body that they just felt invalidated from participating in athletic experiences. And, you know, seeing not only myself, but other women come together and surf has really inspired women to take action and say, you know what? I am a strong woman and I am capable of doing things like surfing with this body that I'm given right now. I don't have to wait to lose weight. I don't have to wait until I join a gym and become super strong. I can do it now. And it's because I'm seeing it for the first time in history with these women here.
My God, my God. When I think about how it must feel to be validated, because I think so many people think they're on this voyage alone. They're by themselves. Like, I'm the only one. You're not. You're not the only one. We're telling you. Okay, so I secretly, there's two things that I don't live with regrets, but there's two things. I wish that when I had good knees that I'd learned how to surf. I also wish that I could slam dunk, but that's another story. Tell me, try to articulate what it feels like to be on a board on one of those waves. Close your eyes and tell me.
You absolutely feel weightless and connected to the center of the earth. The force of the wave comes up through your board and your feet and through the rest of your body. And you feel absolute freedom and bliss in those moments.
Elizabeth Sneed. You know, I have this imaginary group that I'm gathering for a cocktail dinner party, and you're going to be there, girl. Get your surfboard ready and get on a plane.
I'm so excited.
I love what you're doing. I love what you're about. I love that you're getting to do what brings you the most joy and creating space for others to do the same thing. If you would like more information on Curvy Surf Girl and everything else Elizabeth is involved in, that link right there will take you to all of her socials and everything about where to find her. Elizabeth, keep on doing it, girlfriend.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to have been on your program today.
The honor has been absolutely mine.